I can't help myself from putting on my mother hat when I read this passage about the wedding in Cana. Mary is sensing that her friends who are hosting the wedding are about to be embarrassed from a lack of wine. This would be a humiliating and a shameful situation for a Jewish family at the time. She mentions the situation to her son, Jesus, but then also expresses confidence in him that he will handle it. She tells the servers, "Do whatever he tells you." I can easily visualize myself pointing things out to my adult sons where something needs to be said or fixed or attended to. But I have to honestly admit that I would not be so quick, like Mary was, to trust them to figure out what to do or to trust them to finish the job according to my standards. Kevin and I have been attending the parenting class of adult children that Dan and Allison have been facilitating since last October. It's been a wonderful forum to share, commiserate, and learn from each other's experiences. And not just in our roles as parents, but also in our roles as daughters and sons. I mentioned during a session that my mother used to say that she could relate to and sympathize with Mary. The intense feelings of loving and caring for your child so much, but then having to let go of them and navigate the loss. Jesus tells Mary when he's on the cross that she should accept John as her son going forward, and John should accept Mary as his mother. Ouch. We know that could not have been easy. As Protestants, we don't spend a lot of time talking about Mary beyond her role in Advent and Christmas. We discuss her visit from the angel Gabriel and the honor of being chosen as the mother of Jesus. We hear her giving birth in a manger and being visited by the Magi. But after the Christmas story, there are only 5 pieces of scripture that tell of situations involving Mary and Jesus together. The first passage is somewhat of a warning to Mary. In the Gospel of Luke, when Mary and Joseph brought baby Jesus to the temple in Jerusalem for his purification rites, Mary is told by the prophet Simon that a sword would pierce her heart. This is interpreted as a prediction of the sorrow and the pain that she would experience later at his crucifixion. The second instance in Scripture I'd like to refer to as the bad parenting moment, but still in control. In Luke, Mary and Joseph are returning home from the Passover festival, and they can't find Jesus. After searching for 3 days, they find him in the temple, sitting among the teachers. I can relate to this awful feeling and experience those moments of sheer panic when my boys lag behind or they drifted away from me in a crowded setting. The third scripture is what Dan read today at the wedding of Cana, where you could say maybe it was a parental expectation of Mary, or maybe a nudging of her son to do something. The fourth passage of scripture is I call parental concern. In Mark 3, Jesus is healing and drawing large crowds from all over. Things seem to be getting out of control with the word getting out about his abilities to heal. And Jesus and his disciples are so busy that they can't even find time to eat. Mary and his brothers come to where Jesus is preaching, perhaps out of concern for his safety, or maybe his well-being. When Jesus is told that his family members had showed up and were looking for him, he explains that his followers are his brothers and his sisters and his mother. Maybe this served as a reminder to Mary that her role as a parent has indeed changed. And then the last passage, of course, is at the foot of the cross, which is the parental grief and feeling of loss, terrible loss. The theme of loss and letting go has been a main topic in our parenting adult class. We discussed how we are no longer needed in the ways that we once were. We lamented that we are not often the first point of contact for news in our adult children's lives. We don't always agree with the choices or the approaches that are taken by our adult children. But maybe this passage at Cana is emphasizing the concept of letting go, but also of trusting at the same time. Trusting our adult children to make decisions, trusting that God is caring for them and for us in our changing parental